September 1975. America was changing, but almost nobody could see it. Across the country, millions of families were living ordinary lives. Children rode their bicycles through quiet neighborhoods. Fathers returned home from work at the same time every evening. Mothers prepared dinner while the television softly played in the background. It seemed like just another year, just another season, just another ordinary day. But looking back now, many Americans would later realize they were living through the final years of something special. The final years before the internet, before smartphones, before social media, before a world of constant notifications and endless distractions. In neighborhoods across America, children spent their afternoons outside. They played baseball in empty lots, rode bicycles until sunset, and knocked on their friends' doors without sending a message first. Neighbors knew each other by name. Families gathered together for dinner. Life moved at a slower pace, and because it moved more slowly, people often paid more attention to the world around them. At the time, nobody thought these moments were important. They were simply everyday life. Yet decades later, millions of Americans would look back on those years and remember them as some of the happiest times of their lives. The heart of the American home was the living room. Not a smartphone, not a computer, a television. Every evening, families gathered together around a single television set. Everyone watched the same programs, the same sporting events, and the same nightly news. When a popular show aired, millions of Americans were watching at exactly the same moment. Television wasn't something people consumed alone, it was something families shared. Communication was different too. Most homes had a single rotary telephone, often mounted on a kitchen wall or placed beside a chair in the living room. If someone called while you were outside, you missed the call. That was simply part of life. There was no voicemail, no text message, no social media notification. People were not available every second of every day, and somehow life worked just fine. Conversations felt more meaningful because they weren't constant. Every call mattered. Every conversation had value. And for many Americans, those simple moments became memories that lasted a lifetime. Shopping was different in 1975. Long before online stores and next-day delivery, American families looked forward to the arrival of the Sears catalog. For many households, it was more than a shopping guide. It was an event. Families gathered around the dining table, flipping through hundreds of pages filled with clothing, appliances, tools, and toys. Children eagerly circled the Christmas gifts they hoped to receive months later. The catalog allowed families to dream, to plan, to imagine. Photography was different as well. Today, people take thousands of pictures and rarely print them. But in 1975, every photograph mattered. Polaroid cameras brought a special kind of magic into American homes. A picture slowly appeared before your eyes. Family members gathered together, waiting for the image to develop. Birthdays, vacations, graduations, simple moments frozen in time. There was no cloud storage, no digital backup, just a photograph you could hold in your hands. And somehow, that made those memories feel even more valuable. Summer vacations often began with a station wagon parked in the driveway. The trunk was packed with suitcases. The children were excited. The road ahead was full of possibility. For millions of American families, the journey itself was part of the adventure. There were no smartphones, no navigation apps, no GPS telling you where to turn. Families unfolded paper maps across the front seat and carefully planned their routes. Sometimes they got lost. Sometimes they discovered places they never expected to find. And sometimes those unexpected moments became the memories they cherished most. Roadside diners, small-town gas stations, Family-owned motels and scenic highways became part of the American experience. The journey mattered just as much as the destination. Looking back now, it is easy to feel nostalgic for those years. Not because everything was better. Every generation faces its own challenges. But there was something different about the rhythm of everyday life. People spent more time together. Conversations lasted longer. Neighbors knew each other. Children played outside until the streetlights came on. Families gathered around the dinner table at the end of the day and talked about what had happened. The world felt larger, yet somehow it also felt closer. Nobody carried the entire world in their pocket. Nobody spent hours scrolling through endless information. Most people were focused on the lives directly in front of them. Their family, their friends, their community. And perhaps that is what so many people miss when they think about 1975. They are not simply remembering old televisions, rotary phones, or station wagons. They are remembering how those years felt. A slower pace, a quieter world, a stronger connection to the people around them. As the years passed, technology transformed America. Computers entered homes. The internet connected the world. Smartphones changed the way people communicated. Many of these changes brought incredible benefits. Information became available instantly. Families could stay connected across great distances. Opportunities expanded in ways previous generations could never have imagined. But every gain comes with a trade-off. And sometimes, in a world that moves faster every year, people find themselves looking backward. Not because they want to return to the past, but because the past reminds them of something important. It reminds them that happiness was often found in simple things. A family dinner, a summer evening, a bicycle ride with friends, a phone call from a loved one, a photograph tucked away in a drawer, a road trip across America. The people who lived through 1975 could not know what the future would bring. They didn't know about social media. They didn't know about smartphones. They didn't know that one day people would carry more computing power in their pockets than existed in entire buildings during their lifetime. All they knew was that dinner was ready, the television was on, the kids would be home before dark, and tomorrow would probably look a lot like today. Perhaps that is why so many Americans remember those years with such affection. Not because life was perfect, it wasn't, but because life felt simpler. And sometimes, when people say they miss the 1970s, what they are really saying is that they miss a time when the world felt a little slower, a little smaller, and a little more human. For millions of Americans, those memories remain. And for many, 1975 still feels like yesterday.